How's it going, guys? In this video, I am going to go over 12 tips for never getting behind on laundry again. A couple of years ago, I did a full long video with all of my laundry tips, and I decided this year I wanted to kind of separate them out to make it easier for you guys to find what you are looking for. In the last video, I shared more about my daily laundry routine and what that looks like. So this video is all about making sure you don't get behind on laundry and also making sure that laundry doesn't take so long, because that's one of the reasons that we get behind on it. Now, real quick, before we get into this video, if you are interested in streamlining all of the systems in your home so you can add at least 7 hours back to your week, then you definitely want to check out my new workshop called Create Your Streamlining Strategy, because in that workshop, I walk you through every step of my blueprint for how to streamline your home, along with how long each section should take and the entire process in order. So by the end, you will have a plan in place and you can start streamlining right away. There's a link to sign up in the description, and I will also probably pin a comment with the link to sign up as well. So I hope to see you on that workshop. All right, let's get into these 12 tips for getting your laundry done as quickly as possible so you never feel behind on laundry again. So tip number 1 is to do one load of laundry every day. Now, I do take a rest day, and I recommend all moms take at least 1 day a week off from all of their cleaning. But other than that, I recommend doing one load of laundry every day. I talk a lot more about this in the previous video I did where I share about my laundry routine, so I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but just know that's a really good way to not get behind. Don't try to do it all in one day, spread it out throughout the week. And then when you do this load, make sure you do it start to finish, meaning everything is folded and put away. The next tip is not to own too many clothes. If you own more clothes than you can wear in a couple of weeks, it just makes it easier to go much longer between the loads of laundry if you have more clothes than you actually need. So owning less clothes will help the laundry kind of maintain itself, because you'll kind of be forced to do it before it really gets out of control. If you'd like more information about decluttering clothes and how many clothes I recommend that you actually keep, let me know in the comments and I would be happy to do a video on that if it would be helpful. Now, my next tip here is one that a lot of other minimalists disagree with me on, but I say to avoid white clothing or just anything that you have to wash. Personally, I find whites are very hard to keep white, even when I only wash them by themselves, and every time I wash them multiple times. I have tried bluing agents, I've tried bleach, I have tried just about everything, and to me they just always end up looking dingy. Now, you may have some tricks that work well for you, but for me, I find having whites just makes me need to do more laundry, and it also makes it so I need to put more effort in when I do laundry because I have to sort out all of those whites. So that leads me actually to my next tip. And when you don't have things that are very white that have to have all of this extra special care, I have found that I actually don't need to sort laundry. I can put lights and darks together, and I've never had any issues with things staining other clothing items. Now, my middle daughter recently, we got her a pair of bright pink sheets. So of course, the first wash, we washed them by themselves without any other sheets or anything else in the washing machine. But other than that initial wash, I really don't worry about things kind of dyeing other clothes or other sheets, and I've never had any issues with it. Now, when I made my other laundry video, there were many people in the comments who disagreed on this. So if that is you, feel free to leave me a comment telling why you like to sort your laundry. Back when I used to sort, I would have to empty the whole container, the whole hamper, sort everything out, and then start the first load. And now I just haul the hamper over to the washer, dump it in, and start the load. And it just saves me probably 5 to 10 minutes every time I do laundry. The next tip I have is to work the laundry routine into your daily schedule. I talk about how I do this in the most recent video I posted on my laundry routine, my daily schedule, so you can go check that out if you would like. But for now, just know if you have it as part of your routine, something you do for the washing, you know every day what point in the day you need to put things into the wash. For the drying, when do you switch and start the dryer? And then for the folding, this one is really important to have this as part of your daily routine, part of the rhythm of things that you just naturally do, and that will make it so you actually finish and fold and put away the laundry every single day. So putting that into your daily block schedule is a huge thing if you want to not feel like you're always drowning in laundry. I know before I simplified my laundry routine, it was one of those things where I either felt like I was drowning in piles of dirty laundry or I was drowning in piles of clean laundry because the laundry would just end up sitting there clean on the floor. So putting the laundry as a predictable part of my daily routine really helped me out with this problem. Now, one thing that I hear often is moms will say, well, I forget to either switch the laundry or to go back and check when the dryer is done, and it ends up getting late, so the clothes don't get folded. And that's one of the reasons that laundry can kind of weigh us down and be kind of this big thing that we aren't able to accomplish because there are so many pieces where we need to go back. We need to remember to do this next step. We need to remember to go back and do the thing. You would think that laundry would be a lot easier with the modern invention of washing machines, and it is in some ways, but in other ways it makes it difficult because it's not just a task that we can get done once and then leave and do something else. We have to keep going back and keep completing the task. So when you have your laundry in your daily routine, you can set little reminders on your phone to go and switch that laundry and then go back and fold the laundry again. And that will solve the problem of forgetting laundry in one of the stages. The next tip I have is one with a caveat. So I say don't leave the laundry room to fold. Just fold it immediately while you are there pulling it out of the dryer, because every time you move the laundry, you're adding an extra step and you're adding a few extra minutes. My laundry room is actually upstairs, and for a long time I would bring all of the laundry downstairs in the evening, and my husband and I would kind of fold it in the evening together. But it would usually take 2 trips to bring all of the laundry downstairs, and then we would have to haul all of the piles back upstairs. So once I started putting it a little bit earlier in my daily routine and getting it done sooner, I found that it was much more efficient to just fold it immediately right away as it's coming out of the dryer. Now, I understand for some people it may not make sense just logistically to get it done earlier in the day, and you may need to do it in the evening. And in that case, I would say if you have a favorite show that you like to watch or something like that, if that will help you get your folding done, then do it. So I would put a little asterisk next to this tip, and only do this tip if maybe you're a stay-at-home mom or you are getting home from work a little earlier in the day and you can get it done before you're trying to relax in the evening. I would say it's most important to get that folding done, and if the only way you're going to do it is by hauling it to a different room so you can watch a show, then that would definitely take precedence over having to stay in the laundry room. This next tip again is one of those, if it works, do it, if not, don't, but it is to stand up to fold. I also used to sit down when I was folding, especially if it was in the evenings, but even during the day, I would sit down at the edge of the laundry room and fold, and I have found once I started standing up to fold, I just move much more quickly when I am folding, and folding isn't my favorite activity, so why would I want to take any longer to do it? Now again, if you are relaxing in the evening and folding is just part of your wind down time, don't feel like you have to stand, but I know for myself I would rather spend the least amount of time possible folding, and I definitely fold faster when I'm standing. I also find it's a little bit easier to just kind of see what I'm looking for, whether that's matching socks, or I like to fold all of the jeans first in a pile, things like that. It's just a little easier to grab what I'm looking for and kind of visually sort through the pile when I'm standing up. The next tip is to fold as you empty the dryer, and this might sound like one we already talked about, but it is slightly different. It can be a little tempting to go looking for something in the dryer. Maybe you need a shirt for a certain occasion or jeans or something like that, and you know it's in the dryer. So you open up the dryer, you get that one thing out, and maybe you had to kind of dig through and now the laundry's on the floor. And you think to yourself, I'll come back later and deal with this. But the thing is, at least for me, later never comes, and it is much better if I have to get into that dryer for any reason to take the 5-10 minutes and just fold it all right away. And it keeps it from just adding to piles on the floor and kind of having this never-ending pile of clean laundry when you are trying to get the laundry done. My next tip is to put everything away right away. As soon as you are done folding it, put it in the right rooms. I typically have my kids put their own laundry away, especially the girls since they are a little bit older, but have everyone put their own things away right away. If you just put it in the room, if you just put it on your dresser, it will stay there as long as you let it. And it's just a much better habit to get into, putting it all away in the drawers right away, and it just makes the whole room feel cleaner. If you start piling laundry on dressers or beds or things like that, then it just gives the room an untidy feel. And I personally like it much better when things are put away and everything is tidy. My next tip is not to wash clean clothes. Now, this probably sounds pretty obvious, but I know for my kids, there are many days where they will change clothes 2-3 times in a day. And it's not because they're dirty, it's just because, hey, it got warmer out, so I decided to put on some shorts instead of pants. Or maybe we were going somewhere and they decided to put going out clothes on instead of at-home clothes. But whatever the reason, in my mind, if clothes were only worn for a couple of hours or at most half a day, that's not clothes that really need to be put in the washer if they aren't actually dirty. Of course, if they were playing in the mud, yes, those things would go into the washer. But what I've taught my kids to do is if you've only worn things for a short amount of time, that gets folded and put back into your drawer for the next day or whenever you want to wear that thing again. I don't want to have to wash 3 pairs of clothes for each person for every single day. Same with pajamas. Pajamas for kids especially can often get worn more than once, especially once they're past the phase of wetting the bed and things like that. They can generally wear night clothes for at least a couple of days. It doesn't have to be every single day. Even for adults though, jeans can usually be worn more than once. And if clothes just aren't dirty, if you just had to change to go run an errand or something like that, you don't have to wash those clothes every single time. Obviously, this doesn't apply to undergarments. Those get washed every single day, but it can save you a lot of laundry if you just, especially for your kids, teach your kids if something isn't dirty, you don't have to wash it right away. Now, as kids get older, you have to start having different conversations of, okay, make sure you smell your shirt before you put it back in your drawer, things like that. You don't want them wearing stinky clothes, obviously. But if things, especially when they're younger, are worn just a short amount of time, it wasn't worn outside, it didn't get dirty, it's okay to put things back into the drawer instead of the hamper every time. Now, this step I will say takes the most management from whoever is doing the laundry. You will have to watch and make sure if the kids are changing. Often if my kids come downstairs in a different pair of clothes, I will say, hey, what happened to the last pair? And if they say, oh, I put it in the hamper, I'll say, no, that's a clean pair of clothes. You only wear it for an hour or 2. It's just fine. Put it back in your drawer, because that takes them a little bit of effort that they may not necessarily want to do. So I know some people would just prefer to have everything washed if it's been worn at all, but that can really increase the amount of laundry that you have, especially if you are folding everything. Which leads me to my last tip, and that is don't do it alone. This is something that I taught my girls very early when they were 3 years old, and now that my son just turned 3, he will also be learning how to fold his own clothes. It's kind of just a given in our house that the kids each fold their own clothes and then put them away, which significantly reduces the amount of things that I have to fold. Now, I do still fold for my husband and myself, but that makes sense in our family because he works full-time and makes the money, and I manage the house full-time. So it just makes sense for me to do the laundry for him as well instead of him having to do that. But when we both worked outside the home, he was actually in charge of all the laundry because he liked to be able to fold laundry while he watched footballs on Sundays. And so that was a big thing that he took care of when we both worked outside the home. So I do suggest if you work outside the home and your spouse does, or significant others or whoever, make sure you divide up that chore so it's not all resting on your shoulders if you're also having to work outside the home. Right, I think we got it. I think I got all 12. I will find out when I edit this video. But if you have other tips that I didn't mention for how to keep your laundry under control and how to get laundry done quickly, please drop those in the comments down below because I know I would love to use those tips and other moms would as well. Don't forget to sign up for that Create Your Streamlining Strategy workshop if you would like the exact blueprint that I use in my programs for streamlining your home. All right, guys, that's all I had for this video. I hope to see you on the workshop, and I will see you on the next video.